Having a secured environment back again and the public life return to normalcy, the government has decided to reopen the schools and other educational institutes kept closed for several months. As the new school term begins, you are coming to a more secure school environment, which is cleaner and healthier than before. However, we need to take all steps in order to control the spread of this virus and to protect our nation's children. All the health sector workers, members of the Triforces, and the police tirelessly worked to protect our country from corona during the past few months. They executed this while staying away from their family members. Therefore, we have to be grateful to these personnel who established this environment for us to go back to school. There are three main methods in which COVID-19 can spread. This virus can be very easily spread if the saliva, phlegm, or a body fluid of an infected person enters another. It can spread by touch or by speaking closely. Finally, if any body fluid of any infected person which remains on a surface enters the body of another through their eyes, ears, or nose, this illness can spread. It is due to this reason that it is instructed to wear masks covering the mouth and wash hands constantly after being in public places. These good etiquettes are not new things for us. By following these good etiquettes, you can avoid not only COVID but other illnesses as well and maintain a healthy life. The main symptoms of COVID-19 is fever, cough, and pain in the throat. However, when this illness reaches a critical condition, the patient will experience a difficulty in breathing and then increase their speed of breathing. Sometimes one can witness a pneumonic condition or other complexities also. Elderly and weak people, those with non-communicable diseases such as diabetes, heart problems, and liver issues have to be more careful about this illness. Even though some of them might have the virus inside their bodies, they might not display any distinctive symptoms related to COVID. However, the most positive aspect of this illness is that the possibility of this illness infecting young children is lower in comparison to the elderly people. When children are affected, they will display symptoms shown during normal influenza. Thereby, it is a bit difficult to recognize COVID through outer symptoms. Therefore, the possibility of the virus within young children infecting the elders is higher. One can identify COVID-19 through a PCR examination. The virus can be identified by the examination of a phlegm segment or any other bodily segment in a laboratory. A definitive cure for this illness has not yet been found. However, several steps have been taken to control this virus. The responsibility of protecting children from COVID-19 falls on several groups. They are the Education Ministry, Health Sector, School Administration, the buses and vans which transport school children, along with the parents and the students themselves. It is necessary that the parents check whether the children are suffering from coughs, influenza, or any other respiratory diseases or complexities before sending them to school. Furthermore, it is important to send the child in a well-cleaned uniform. Further, it is best to provide a nutritious meal that is prepared at home, since school canteens are not operating. It is necessary to provide the child with an adequate amount of boiled and cooled water from home. This will lessen the usage of the public tap system. Sharing food is a good habit among our children. However, children should be made aware that this should be absolutely avoided under present circumstances. One of the most important factors is to provide your kid with a standard face mask and to inform your kid to wear it properly. The children should be encouraged to wear it in the van, bus, and on the road. However, it is not necessary to wear the mask in a classroom with a healthy and clean atmosphere. It is the parents' responsibility to not send wristwatches, jewelry, or any other thing that is not essential to the education activities. Further, students should not be sent to school at occasions in which children are having short-term fever, runny noses, throat infections, or breathing difficulties. It is important that children are not sent to school if they have interacted with someone who is suspected to be infected with corona during the last 14 days. Furthermore, if you are a person who is in quarantine due to the possibility of being infected by the coronavirus, you should not come to the school. It is best that persons with private vehicles use them for their transport as much as possible. At an era such as this, when sports activities have been limited, it will be a useful physical exercise if one can come to school by bicycle or by foot. At occasions in which students travel by school vans, attention should be paid whether the seats and the interiors have been properly disinfected. The students should be advised to be seated at proper distances and to follow the correct health regulations if the public transport system is being used. Proper programs have now been implemented by the schools and other educational institutes to protect the students from the COVID-19 plague. It is important that parents instruct their children that they should follow the health regulations. Spaces such as the classrooms, the school complex, and the educational equipment should be cleaned and disinfected before the schools are reopened. Since the school academic activities will be held in a clean atmosphere subsequent to a complete disinfectant procedure, our dear students should not be scared to come back to school. After the school is thus cleansed, the public health inspector of the relevant area should examine the level of cleanliness and express his satisfaction of its condition. The next guardians of the students who arrive from their homes are the principal and the teachers. You have now arrived at a secure school, and within this clean environment, you will not have any risk of being infected by corona. It is necessary to provide the facility to wash hands with soap for the students at the school gates. Further, it is necessary to provide running water near toilets, washrooms, and classrooms to wash hands and ensure the protection of the students. One should reduce touching surfaces at public spaces as much as possible. One should always wash hands with soap if any public surface is touched, and also after coughing, after sneezing, before and after meals, after going to the toilet, after coming to school, and after returning home from school. It will be important for the school system to be informed of the newest facts on COVID-19 or the new coronavirus and its expansion. It will be important to be in touch with the news that is issued by the World Health Organization, Health Ministry, Health Promotion Bureau, and the National Institute for Infectious Diseases. The students in the First Aid Unit or the Media Unit can carry out this responsibility under the guidance of their teachers. The most important factor in this activity is to be vigilant about unconfirmed news. Further, it is important to set up a communication system to provide students with the necessary information and guidance during school hours and before the school commences. We will have to stop doing all group activities for a certain period. It will be necessary to maintain the distance of 1 meter during lunch times and during sports. Do remember, maintaining a physical distance is the best preventive method for this disease. There are many ways in which one can correct the negative mentality which will be created by not engaging in sports activities and doing group activities. One of them would be to enjoy music or listen to songs. Students can engage in inventing new objects, writing poetry, or writing stories. Another method would be to watch beautiful scenery on television or creating mental images. They could also engage in simple yoga exercises or exercises to relax the body. One must refrain from sharing objects. One should bring all the necessary school items without depending on friends. Even if you use a friend's belonging, it is not wrong to use it after properly disinfecting it, since the COVID virus is destroyed by using disinfectants. It is necessary to disinfect places which are frequently used before the school starts and after the interval at least twice. Opening doors, windows, and the curtains wide and allowing the sunlight and fresh air to enter the classroom will aid to maintain a healthy educational process. Maintenance of a meter distance between two people and washing hands with soap after any activity is crucial. You have to cover your mouth when you cough, sneeze with the inner elbow, a tissue or cleaned handkerchief. Used tissues should be only put into a waste paper basket that has a lid. Spitting and blowing your nose at public spaces should be absolutely avoided. Extracurricular activities such as community gatherings, sports which involve physical contact with others, dental clinics, educational trips, health camps should not be organized by schools. Unless it is absolutely necessary, meetings should be only for the staff. Gathering of parents near the school gate should also be avoided during this time period. If a parent comes to the school for any necessity, only one should be allowed to enter at a time, and they should adhere to the health sector rules. It is the responsibility of the students not to gather in groups according to the instructions given by the teachers and parents. They should not gather together before and after school in groups. If the interval can be given at different times to different groups, the gatherings can be minimized. It will be important to rearrange classrooms in a manner to maintain social distancing among the students. The most important factor in preventing COVID would be to have a first aid room with facilities in each school. In a school where both genders are studying, it will be important to have 2 rooms for the 2 genders. It will be important to have a room with good sunlight, fresh air, and other hygienic facilities with a bed and a first aid kit for this purpose. If a student or a teacher shows symptoms of fever or a respiratory problem, he or she should be taken to the first aid room. Further, the health officer or the public health inspector should be informed as soon as possible. The necessary information and instructions can be taken by calling the emergency number 1988 of the Education Ministry. It is important to have an information registry of all students, their parents or guardians. If a child is suddenly taken sick, the registry will be helpful in informing the parents as soon as possible. One should not forget to keep the children's footwear outside the house when they return home. The clothes worn by children should be soaked in soap water, washed and then dried in the sun. School bags and other materials should be kept in a different place and disinfected, or the footwear and bags can be dried in the sun. School children should bathe or clean themselves before contacting the rest of the family. We have the power to prevent this illness spreading by communal attempts. If you in the education sector and the parents work in a disciplined manner and abide by health rules, we will be able to live as healthy citizens in a healthy Sri Lanka without corona. With the guidance of the Ministry of Education, this message was brought to you by Sri Lanka Insurance. Like a father, like a mother.